Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady Dee.
We are the Dom Life.
This podcast contains sexually explicit topics and adult content.
It is intended for listeners 18 and older.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we respect that. We would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at www.thedomlife.com.
So did you always know that you were submissive, or have you flipped roles? Do you do anything other than the submissive role? Do you top people? Have you?
I always knew that I was a submissive. However, times are changing. I am learning to be a top.
Yes.
And I have topped multiple times.
Me too.
I'm starting to really enjoy it.
Me too.
No, I'm fixing to lose another bottom.
No, because we still get that pleasure ourselves. But man, it's so much fun sometimes topping others.
I think now we should
jump into.
I think it's time now that we jump into a little subspace, subdrop, and aftercare. Because that is what this episode is about.
Yes, it is.
So you have witnessed subspace.
We've witnessed you in subspace before.
And I know there is some questions that is ultimately hard as hell to describe or to answer. But if you can, what does subspace feel like to you?
Subspace for me, it means letting go. Being present in the moment.
Okay.
I love that answer, that part.
Mm-hmm. And it's more of a zen. And you kind of forget where you are and what's happening around you.
I love it.
I saw it with the rope. Your focus was, your eyes were closed during it. Mm-hmm. And your focus was completely on what was going on to your body in that moment. You had a huge audience of people. It was on a stage, and yet none of that was getting through to you. It was all you in your head.
Yep. I treated it like we were in the studio. He has music going, and I was just vibing to the music.
Yes, she was. We've seen you occasionally kind of nod to the music just a little bit.
But yeah, I was completely oblivious to the audience. I was just focused on Vegas Dave.
Do you feel that subspace is different for rope versus impact versus maybe a tickle scene? Do you hit different levels or different kinds of subspace based on what's going on?
Oh, absolutely. Let's start with the impact one. After we're done with the scene, it's more or less not a sub drop, but just a body drop.
Okay.
But with impact and subspace, pretty much you are focused solely on the impact of what's going on your body. You're not focused on, say, my constant pain that I have.
Right.
It's a different type of pleasure. And you are completely in the hands of your top.
Yes.
You have so much trust in that top. That right there, the subspace kind of goes into I want to say a bond with your top.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. For tickling, that one is a little bit more euphoric.
Oh.
Because you are laughing, you are squirming, and that subspace is, I don't care, I want, just, you're laughing. You can't think of very much.
Right.
Except for green, yellow, and red.
Those are always in our head somewhere. Like they may disappear for a little bit, but when we need them, we can pull those out. Yellow is a fun one for me.
And I think it's so cute and so special between like the lure and the lee. In the tickle community, it's called tickler and ticklee.
Okay.
And you have to have some sort of course, a bond there. If you try to tickle somebody out on the street, it's probably saying, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. Or get punched.
Or get punched. But yeah, it's more...
Like intimate?
Yes, thank you. More intimate, more connection there.
That's awesome.
All right.
Okay.
And, one more for rope.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That one's kind of different because, of course, in subspace, you are still paying attention to your top.
Because you're... Like with us, if you're hitting me and there's impact and he's switching implements. So is rope different than that?
Yes, it is. Of course, you're going to have different parts of your body being constricted and having things wrapped around you. So there's multiple different things that you're focusing on in one session.
Got it.
But I love being in that subspace of just zen and not caring about anything else in the world. You are brought to this moment in time.
Right. So when you do impact play, do you ever put in headphones and do music? Have you done that before? Because you have not done it with us.
I haven't.
It is something that I highly recommend for you. And the reason why is because I watched you on stage with rope and I saw how much the music impacted you. So in the future, because you still can do your red, yellow, green, you can still talk because if you turn your head sideways when you're on the cross, they can see that you're looking to talk. But with earphones in, it cuts out all the other noise, all the other stuff that's going on that may distract you from what's going on inside of you or on to your body.
Yep.
So you react to music in such a way that I would recommend that you try to do an impact scene with earphones in.
I will definitely bring that up with the next top that I work with.
I've actually got a set of headphones, wireless headphones that are in my Dom box. Just FYI.
No way.
Yes, I always have them with me.
Oh, I do too. Don't worry about it.
All right. So when we talk about the subspace, we know that it's a release of the feel-good hormones. That's why we have subspace, because we're getting a release of endorphins based on our personal pleasure, whatever that pleasure may be. For some people, it may be pain. For other people, it's tickling. That pleasure releases stuff in your body. All right. So obviously, you're saying it's different between the different ones, just slightly. Now, once that stuff starts going away, now we're talking, you get done with a scene, and I've seen you drop. I've dropped. So tell me about what your sub-drop experience. And I know there's different ones because I've interacted with you during one of yours that was days later, not the day. So explain to me what your sub-drop is and just give me some information about your sub-drop.
Some of my symptoms, I'd say, is with sub-drop, it doesn't necessarily automatically start as soon as the scene ends.
Correct.
I'm talking about, like, I'd say hours later.
Okay.
I feel a part of me feels incomplete, or I'm missing something else for some reason.
Okay.
And I don't know what to do with that information in my head. Should I contact them, or what should I do?
Right.
I haven't had a whole lot of sub drops to where it did leave a lasting impression, except for like a handful of times.
Okay.
But I do want to talk about the long term.
Okay.
Yes.
So whenever I did message you about I'm having really, really bad sub drop, this was probably almost a week later.
Yes.
And I was extremely depressed. I was feeling very low. I was paranoid. My body ached a lot more because I was mentally so drained and so depressed.
Right.
And at that point, I was also touch starved.
Oh, that's hard. Because that's specific. Now, when you get touch starved, is it for the specific person that was a part of the scene, or could it be with somebody else as well?
It was from the person during the scene. I'll quote it again. Like, I needed something more.
Right.
Why does that sound selfish?
No, because you're giving up parts of yourself during these scenes. You're giving up your emotion, your control into the hands of another person. Why would it be selfish to need more back when you've given up all that to your partner?
That's not selfish at all.
Not at all.
I do believe I know the reason why I
Okay.
had that bit of a subdrop. I did not get proper aftercare.
Because of the fact that it was not in an environment that you could.
Right.
And that happens. There are environments at the club. Sometimes you're like getting pushed out of the way because more people want to come in, or so there's always situations where that would happen. Now, after we did some talking and just me being available, did you get to the point where you were able to communicate with the other person? Did you smooth out those things that you needed?
From what I remember, yes. I spoke with them saying, listen, I hate to bother you, but I am experiencing really bad subdrop. And we had a whole conversation. And I think maybe a few weeks later, we met up, and all I wanted to do was just lay there and cuddle.
Yep.
Right.
That's it.
Wow. Okay.
And see,
So
it's something that people that are doing scenes or performances, or they may not think about the longer impact.
Right.
Because again, a lot of energy goes into preparing, having your outfit, being on stage, doing a scene. Some people don't have dungeons available like we do. Some people need to be at a specific dungeon that happens once a month. That's where their scene is. So there's all this preparedness that's happening in their heads. And then you get there and it's done. Now it's done. You've given up. It was awesome. It was amazing, but it's done. And you don't know if that same partner is available next month, if you guys don't have the schedule. And now you're wondering when is the next one? And your body feels deprived. You're mentally feeling deprived, and it can create depression. Right. I'm so glad that you're speaking to us about this, because
I mean, this is huge, and this goes back, episode 3 when we talked about it. You don't know what you need until you need it. Mm-hmm. So you had a scene. You didn't feel that you got everything out of that scene that you wanted.
In terms of aftercare.
In terms of aftercare. And you all parted your ways, and then you hit severe subdrop. And it started messing with your mind, your mentality, your body. It started messing with a lot of stuff. And that's, man, and to have the right answer for that, I don't. But on the bright side of this is, and we've talked about it before, you have a community. Mm-hmm. You have people that you can reach out to, that you can talk to, that you can get, what needs to happen, or just somebody there to say, I'm listening. What's on your mind? That is huge to have.
So are there other symptoms that you can recall having as a part of subdrop? Not just that instance or this. Are there other instances? Because your situation is just a little bit different than mine. You're not married to your dom like I am, mm-hmm. right? So your situation is just a little bit different. So have there been other symptoms that you've had? What are some of list out a couple of symptoms you've had?
A couple of symptoms is for some reason, paranoia.
Okay.
Always pops in my head.
Okay.
Anxiety, I'm tired,
Tired is, I feel that.
mentally exhausted.
Paranoia, strangely enough. So here's the thing. I don't necessarily have paranoia, but there was one instance where we were not aware of my sub-drop situation, what I would need my aftercare. And I was there and he was playing with somebody else on the cross because we didn't realize that and we did this a couple weeks ago too, where it wasn't a big deal, but I was okay with it. But then once I was done, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm like, we can't. Mm-hmm. But the first time, it was almost like you don't care about me because you're now playing with somebody else and you're not paying attention to my personal needs. And it hurt me a lot. Unintentional. He obviously loves me. We go home together. But in that moment, there was that paranoia that I am not the number one thing in your life.
Right. Especially if you're so close with somebody and you put your entire trust in them. But you also have to remember that they too have another life and you're still a part of it. But it's always that little fear and that little paranoia in the back of your brain saying, you're going to be replaced.
Right.
I can understand that.
And you're wanting constant reassurance from your top.
Right. So that was, would you say that was probably your hardest sub-drop?
Yes.
Okay.
The one that I've ever experienced.
Okay. And so is there anything that you learned from that moving forward, you will try to make sure the aftercare is done? I mean, I'm sure in your mind you now have a checklist of stuff that needs to happen.
Yes, I have a checklist in my head now.
I don't mean I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at your facial expressions when you said that. I don't want nobody to think I'm laughing at you for that.
No,
That was so cute. I love that face.
It was like literally she was looking at the back of her head where that list was and going through it. Yep, I got a list.
I got one. No, but over top of it all, I've learned to communicate ahead of time.
Okay.
Perfect. Because once you're in that paranoia, it's very hard to communicate to the person that you think you might be losing, right? Mm-hmm. Because now there's an additional fear there because of your mental state.
Yes.
Okay, so you communicate in advance.
And also communicate while it's happening and note what you need. I personally need reassurance. And that kind of puts my mind at ease.
Right. They need to be verbal with you about reassuring you about your place in their life.
Because I don't see them every day.
Right.
And and that makes it difficult for people, you know.
We're giving a different perspective here because that's not my life. And even though I have that little bit, I still come home with him. I am still in bed with him at the end of the night. If I wanted to, I could cuddle up next to him.
It might last a whole 2 minutes.
Because then I start sweating and so does he.
Turns into a damn oven.
I'm a furnace.
Hell.
I warm things up. When we met, that was one of the things he used to cuddle with other people.
I enjoy cuddling. I enjoy going to bed, laying down, and holding whoever I'm in bed with.
Except for me.
To go to sleep. And then
one day when we had massive
she had felt I was on my back, had my arm around her. She was laying on my chest, and like 2 minutes later, I am like soaking
I fell
wet.
asleep, and when I woke up, he was just like,
I'm trying to shove her off of me. God bless. So yeah, cuddling for us doesn't really happen
but
very much.
It is a situation which you do not have. And even though you have your husband who you love and adore, this is regarding your submissive side in which you're sharing with somebody else, and you need that aftercare from that person.
Right.
And it sucks that you can't just swap it.
Right.
You would think that you could just, all right, I'm going to go to my rock, my person, But if you're actually playing with somebody else, then what you need is that aftercare from that person.
Right.
What are some aftercare needs? And I'm sure that's different, whether it be an impact scene, a sensation scene, or a rope scene. But I'm sure there is some common areas of aftercare that you feel that you need after a scene.
Water.
Yeah, definitely the water.
And a blanket, because you don't want you're all exposed out there.
Yes. Water and a blanket are the key components. Oh, and a plushie.
Plushie.
Okay.
Or a pillow, something like soft I can just hold.
Right.
Squeezing that.
And again, the reassurance.
Yeah, and the reassurance.
I know the times that we have, had a scene together and afterwards, and you get like double aftercare from us because, I may have you on the cross and use an impact on you, and Lady Dee may come up and do a few things, but afterwards you get both of us for aftercare. And I know it's, for us, it's again, covering you up. We get you water. And we just kind of rub your body, rub your arms, rub your legs.
And typically I stay with her. You, Master Nick, will have a line of people, so you're off and running, and then I stay with...
I will spend,
No, you spend time. I get it.
You stay there longer than I do, but... And even then, I'll lay there or I sit there and kind of give you a little bit of reassurance of, that was a great scene. You've done great. You communicated well, that kind of stuff. So...
Because I'm always asking, did I do good?
Yeah, yes, you do. You're looking for that. So... Over time, I have learned that that's a key component to you when you play with somebody and they're asking questions like that. That's a good tell of what they're looking for in their aftercare, and you look for that reassurance.
Now, I've noticed that typically at the end of a play, you typically leave shortly thereafter, don't you? Or have you stayed? What I've seen is once you're all settled and stuff, then you typically leave.
Yeah, for the most part. Sometimes I do kind of linger around, but after that, like I'm still kind of
feeling in your head.
Kind of fuzzy, not necessarily fuzzy, but I'm still kind of riding that high.
Right. Okay. I mean, that is some great information. It's a total different perspective.
So are there any other things that you, in preparing for us to do this interview, in us talking, is there other things that you wanted to say about these topics?
Not necessarily. I do like the different types of different aftercare. Not all aftercare is the same. Of course, it's different for some people. Like rope is probably an aftercare for me. Is a form of aftercare.
Okay.
Because,
Yep. Just tell us what it is. What does rope give you?
A release.
Rope itself, unlike impact, gives you a release.
It gives me a release. It's comfort.
I need to be suspended. Do you think Vegas Dave will suspend me? I just need to feel it one time.
I'm sure, possibly. And I'm sure Snap Ginger would probably give it a shot too.
Yeah. We have to do some of the bite nights and stuff like that. This winter has been very rough on us between everybody in the world being sick and then actually having so much snow and ice that we've kind of brought ourselves back. We've been at home, just recovering a lot.
Just at home.
Just at home. Now, February, we're not going to be at home. There's a lot going on in February.
So the way you're talking about rope being somewhat of an aftercare for you, that type of rope, you're not looking for the sadistic type rope. Right. It's just more of soothing, feeling that rope against your body. Maybe, just a little snug, a little tight.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Like sometimes whenever I'll get tied by a rigger and he'll just leave me there on the ground. I'm like, just leave me be.
Right.
Don't get me out. Don't get me out yet.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that is interesting.
And how many people do you said you have a couple of people that you trust to tie you?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How did you get there?
How did I get there?
With them?
I met up with another guy who's a photographer, and he wanted to take some really cool shots with my neon hair.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to get my husband to try it, but I can't force anything on that. Don't force anything onto anybody.
Right. 100%.
You can always introduce and give them a little bit of information, but you can't force them to like or really do anything.
Right.
Right.
And you have to respect boundaries.
Yes. Yes, you do. But there's a lot of people that we know, that come to especially like Club Tempted, where their partners don't want a part of it. Mm-hmm. They don't want to be involved in that, but they are perfectly okay with letting their partner go and do, and you are one of them. But yes, if you have a partner that is interested in kinks and fetishes and you can't commit yourself to doing that, there is absolutely nothing wrong with letting them venture out to get that. Because if you have a partner that needs or wants these kinks or fetishes, they're going to continually need and want. And if they can't find a way of satisfying that, then
I've ended relationships in my life because I need BDSM. I need the submissive, dominant role in my sexual relationship. And if I do not have it, then I feel like what ends up happening is we become friends. Sex is like, okay, I had an orgasm, great. Mm-hmm. It's not enough for me because my submissive is always there needing the attention.
Right.
Yes, it is. And bless the partners who do actually allow the submissives out and get what they need.
Yes.
And again, it's huge on both ends. I mean, it's a bad situation to be in if your partner needs this and you can't provide it. Now you're both stuck kind of between a rock and a hard place.
Absolutely.
It takes a lot of trust in that relationship. It takes a lot of communication in that relationship in order for both parties to be comfortable with each one of them doing their own thing on the side like that. And it's huge to have that. It is a great accomplishment to get there, to have that trust in a relationship to let the partner venture out or whatever. But I can see where it would be tough. I don't know that if I couldn't provide everything Lady Dee needed, I don't know that I would feel good enough letting her go out and get it somewhere else. So for people that can do that's huge. I admire that
100%, because we've had this conversation when it came to poly relationships, which I don't have one lick of problem with, but Master Nick is my person. And while I'm willing to share him within the BDSM community, while he's got people up on the cross, he is mine. Mm-hmm. That's it.
All right. Anything else to hit on for subspace, subdrop, or aftercare?
Yes. Hold on a second.
Okay.
She's got like a Rolodex in the top of her brain that she looks up at.
It's more or less connecting wires.
That's why she likes electric so much.
Connecting all the time.
I love it.
No, I will say, whenever I do come home from a scene, it's stupid late at night, and my husband is still home. He knows. He'll ask, "Okay, what'd you do tonight?"
Nice.
I was like, "Oh, okay, I did this and this and this," and he knows that part of aftercare is, for him to me, he will leave me in the office with some water and blanket and my phone, and he'll let me decompress that way.
Ah,
nice.
It's nice that he has some aftercare for you. That shows so much love. I love that.
Yep.
I'll keep him.
Yeah. I got mine.
Well, that is good.
But that is all on my end.
We are so glad that you came and talked about this, because truthfully, you provided a perspective that I cannot, because my dynamic with my dom is different than you and the people who top you. Right. And it's multiple situations and scenarios that you have. And so this was a topic that our listeners find very important, and having a different perspective on it from another submissive who's gone through all the stages of it is important.
Yep.
So
And-
we thank you so much.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
And stay tuned, because since this is such a huge topic that always gets missed, there will be more. We'll talk more down the road about subspace, subdrop, and aftercare, because it is important for everybody to know the differences between one person to another. I know we expressed it in our episode, what we do is what we do. It may not be what works for other people,
Yes.
but it gives you an idea of where to start and how to start to learn yourself, to learn your body, and to learn your needs and to build upon it.
Yeah, because, if you have a really bad time after a scene, you may not understand why.
Yep.
And there is a reason for it.
Yes. All right.
And you're definitely not alone.
No.
Not alone.
Miss Jade, thank you so much for spending some
love
time
you.
with us.
Oh, thank you, Master Nick. Lady Dee, thank you.
Right. You all have a good one. Thank you.
Please follow, like, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com, where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, you can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us, and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red, red, red.